Alright guys, went and got a puller so I can pull this power steering pump off, or pulley off. Here's some of my wiring for my fans, AC condenser or compressor. Alright, so first thing first, I'm going to go ahead and pull this pulley off. Then I'm going to pull off the harmonic balancer. Basically, there's a little clamshell that fits over top the pulley. And then your little puller deal fits on top of that. Anyway, let me just So essentially, there's a sleeve that goes over half, or over these two clamshells. This nut goes inside the bigger opening in the clamshell, and the smaller opening fits right on this little ridge here. So you sit, basically it goes like this. Both sides of the clamshell fit on. And this collar fits over top, and you basically press, or you tighten up this bolt, and it presses the threads on the shaft, or presses this knurled end on the shaft, and it pushes the pulley right off, or pulls it right off. So now we can get to the power steering pump bolts, so we can finally get to that nut, or that other bolt. All right. Oh yeah. I got a new ratchet. Walked into AutoZone, no questions asked. They picked one up off the shelf, handed it to me, and I walked out. So. And she's gonna be dropping out any second now. Now I've got one head bolt left. There it is. What's wonderful about this year here is it was a transitional year. So any fasteners on the motor itself are all, or even the transmission, they are all standard thread, SAE, and anything on like the truck is metric. So it's a pain in the butt. You never know what, you basically have to have a set of both kinds of wrenches, standard and metric. So this head, make sure I got all the bolts here earlier. I guess I could have just counted them, but yep, I've got all the head bolts off. Sometimes it takes a little motivation. Got it. A little bit of extra coolant that was in the head. Spark plugs caught on the steering shaft. Alright, carry this over here. Alright, I got the correct screws for the bouncer remover, and it's I don't know what to do with the rest of it, but I had to clean up the threads a little bit on a wire wheel. The threads are still kind of jacked up on this one, which is awesome. Oh, make an executive decision. I'm going to loosen this thing up, and I'm actually going to use the factory bolts, I think. Trust me, I'd like to use one of these longer guys, but not really working out for me. I just got to thinking, I probably should have pulled this off while the heads were still on. Oh yeah, that's wonderful. Alrighty, well, I went ahead and got an impact real quick. I threaded those in as far as I pretty much could. Now, see it pull it back. Oh, here's your harmonic balancer. Alright, now I basically just take all these bolts loose. Should be just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like just 10 of them. Should be able to slip that off, and I'll slip the timing cover off. Then that'll expose my timing chain, and then I can slide the cam out. Alright, go ahead and use this and break them all loose real quick. Wow, these guys were tight. I really think I can get that. Oh yeah. This is a 3/8 head on these bolts. And when you tighten them back down, I'm sure that it's something pretty ridiculous as far as torque goes. I'm going to go out on a limb and say not much. 20 inch-pounds. It'd probably be more than that, but still, it's breaking these bastards loose was awful easy. And I don't know if you guys have seen my my videos where I had a timing light out. But this here is a timing mark. Hey, this last one's got a little bit of resistance to it. Probably more just the gummed up threads than anything. Alright. Well, there's a little seal in here. Well, you can tell it's probably been seeping, huh? It definitely has been, but just a second, I'll be reset this. Looks to me like my, you still got that? Looks to me like my timing chain might have had a little bit of slop to it. That's just enough to have decent spark scatter and the whole the works. So we've got another timing chain coming. Or I've got another timing chain slated to go on. Alright, there's 3 bolts that hold the cam gear to the camshaft. All right. Took just a little bit of persuasion, but I'd say overall this thing's not in bad shape. I mean, I don't know how. Like I said, this is after 28 years worth of use. I mean, it was originally like a bare metal look to it, but you can scratch the crap off of it. But anyway, that's kind of neat to see just how good a shape some of this stuff's actually in. But this chain is obviously, after seeing it on there, you can see it is obviously seen better days. But it's kind of neat to look back at stuff like this, though. It's so old. All right, I went ahead and found a couple of 3-inch long bolts that are the same threads as his 5/16 bolt, standard thread. But I need some sort of cam handle, so I'm going to we'll go ahead and go in quite a ways. I grabbed a couple, but anyway, I'm only going to use one. So just guys, time to do a little bit of comparison testing. You see how pointy those lobes are? Well, just in case there was ever any question, this lobe compared to that lobe, so it lifts higher and for longer. If you happen to, there we go. These have 550 lift. These have, I don't know if that's an exhaust or intake lobe, but regardless, it'll, the exhaust, or the intake on the original one was 385. The exhaust was 403, and this is a 446 lift on the exhaust. Intake is, I bet, shit, try not to, don't want to ding it up too much. Well, these two lobes, side by side. I feel like you can't get a good, grasp on how much bigger the new one is than the old one. So, Yep, here's my new camshaft. Getting ready to go in. I do have to get a new cam gear. Excuse me. A new cam gear for my or distributor gear, because this is made out of harder steel. So need to keep that in mind. And you can see how good the valve sealing was. A bunch of that crap is already pretty much run out. So yeah, this is the new cam. I'm getting ready to clean things up first, and then I'll throw it in, and then I'll start kind of going from the cam on up to the heads, to the headers, to the intake, to the carb, which I haven't pulled off yet. So anyway, I just wanted to show you guys how that the comparison between the roller cam and the flat tappet cam. All right, guys. Now I'm going to go ahead and be pulling the, or I'm going to be cleaning up the gasket mating surfaces and stuff, both on the front of the block, timing cover, water pump, head deck, the front and rear China wall. I'm going to be cleaning up everything, scraping up all the gasket surfaces and stuff, and hopefully I'll get everything done here shortly. I got the gasket surfaces pretty clean, so I think I might go ahead and slap the heads on real quick. I don't have my torque wrench to torque them down, but I can at least set them on there and keep it from sealing or anything. So should be pretty well cleaned out and stuff. I went over my last time really gently, and should be in pretty good shape overall, I'd say. Nice and clean, I mean. So go ahead and grab one of those heads and set her on there. All right, I just slipped the head into place, the head gasket on. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the new head bolts, and then I'll go ahead and put the rocker studs on after. And anyway, yeah, it's starting to look like a high performance motor again. All right, I'm gonna slap the other head on. I just degreased the mating surface. Excellent. grab the head bolts. I just set the new intake manifold on there just to see how she looks. I don't think it'll be too bad. I do need some hardened washers before I put any head bolts on. I need to put them underneath. That way I don't gall the cylinder head. So I guess for right now I'm kind of at a standstill as far as installing the heads go. Yeah, I guess I could slap in that cam. Alright, enough playtime. Yeah, old habits die hard. I might as well go ahead and throw on some assembly lube. Those are really interesting. Got nice sticky stuff there. Come on, buddy. Alright, boys and girls, that's how you stab a camshaft. Alright. Alright, now I've got some new lifters. Yes, this is how they fucking shipped them to me. And dog bones. Yeah, I wasn't too thrilled about how they shipped them to me, or the condition that they were in, but I think it was like $40 for the set, something like that. It's cheaper than what I can get them for anywhere else. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I got 16 of these guys. Perfect. Alright, put a little assembly lube on these guys. Alright, 16 of these guys, huh? If you haven't already hit fast forward. Cylinder number 8. Intake. Come on, buddy. That's a hell of a reach. Shit. Cylinder number 3. also got this spider here. It goes on top of the dog bones. There's a little flat on the lifters. You can kind of see, dang it. You can kind of see the little flat on the lifters. Yeah, there we go, that's a good one. And that keeps the lifters, the wheels facing the right direction. So this spider goes on and springs down and actually holds those dog bones in place. While one is, you know, the rockers or the lifters are kind of going independent of each other. So that holds them down. That's how the factory designed it. Instead of using a link bar that would actually go between them. I believe all right, I'm gonna get some thread locker real quick and then put these guys in. Now I'm kind of thinking that the spider will act as a, well, hell, you didn't get to see anything of that. The spider will act as a kind of a lock washer, so it'll constantly be springing up against those bolts. So I think I'm in pretty good shape as far as that goes. So all right, now these are called cam retaining plates. There's a couple different sizes of them. I wasn't 100% sure. Let's see here. I wasn't 100% sure which size I needed. This is the smaller one, and this is the larger one. They both say GM on them. If I can get it to focus. Anyway, they both say GM on them, and anyway, I wasn't 100% sure which size I should get, and so I ended up buying a kit from Chevy Performance. It comes with a timing gear, and a timing chain, which I've got sitting up here somewhere. I think it's over there. Yeah, it's sitting over there. Sitting over there. And over there. Anyway, so it turns out I need the bigger one. So this holds the camshaft in place. Or holds the camshaft from walking out the front. And again, you do want to put thread locker on there, which I know that wasn't near enough. Unless it's blowing out all over everything. Now these bolt holes have been tapped from the factory, but were never used before. So I mean, they've had oil, clean oil, dirty oil. They've had oil and a hell of a lot of heat cycles and stuff. You know, blowing into their threads and everything, but there we go. Anyway, this holds your camshaft in place so it does not walk out the front of the block. Now the factory The factory installed flat tappet camshaft actually had a slight taper ground into the cam lobes, so that as the lifters were sliding up and down on it, on the cam lobes, they constantly forced the camshaft back toward the back of the block, just ever so slightly. And you know, all 16 lifters doing that, you know, it can hold it back, because the distributor gear runs off a gear on the back of the camshaft, and that can actually help force the camshaft forward. So in order to keep the timing accurate, they have that taper in the block. So this should be ready to roll now. It's not going anywhere. It's not coming out anymore. So it's in there. And this is a newer style timing gear. So my old one was a double roller. This is a single roller. But anyway, it's from GM Performance, or Chevy High Performance. So I'm surprised there's not actually a bow tie on here, but it just says GM on it. So anyway, so this cam gear, will go on here just like this. Dang it. There we go. And I need to install I need to get a puller and pull the factory roller, or factory timing gear off. It's an interference fit, so I need to get a puller for it. So then I can press this on after that. And after that, I should be ready to put the timing cover on. Then I can, once I get hardened washers, I can bolt down the cylinder heads and put on the intake manifold and stab the distributor, put fuel to it, spark to it, bolt the headers on. I mean, she's going to be ready to rock and roll here pretty quick. So it's about 10 o'clock tonight. Let's see here, 10:30. So I think I might head home for the night and get some sleep, and I got to grab some more things in the morning. So I think for right now we're going to cut her short. All right, check the fluids and all that shit. It should fire.